Support for Your Fantastic Mind, provided by Southern Company Foundation. Support for Your Fantastic Mind, provided by the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. For more information, visit opioidresponse.info.
Good evening. I'm Jay Watson. 2020 will be a year none of us forget. We are living with the life-changing impacts of a global pandemic, COVID-19. That pandemic has overshadowed another pandemic we were already grappling with across the country and here in Georgia, the opioid crisis. Every day, 128 people die in the United States from opioid overdoses. Add to that the COVID pandemic, which is physically isolating us from each other. From the financial losses to the loss of health, the result is that overdose rates this year are on the rise across our nation and here in Georgia. Consider this. According to Georgia state health officials, between March and June of this year, fentanyl-related opioid overdose deaths have increased by 61%. So tonight, we are beginning an urgent, important conversation, and it's one a lot of people don't want to have because it is uncomfortable. Opioid addiction is often incorrectly judged as a moral failing, but the truth is, it's a brain disease. We are removing the stigma beginning now with straight talk and facts and hope, and we hope to answer some of the questions that you in the audience have sent us, because there is a way forward out of this crisis. The number at the bottom of your screen, 1-800-715-4225, is the Georgia Crisis and Access Hotline. You can call this number at any time in the next 2 hours or any time 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get connected to resources and help for yourself or for someone you love. Throughout this evening, we'll have a chance to hear from the leading opioid experts in the country. Their insight and advice, combined with the stories you're about to see, are a big step forward in confronting an issue that is harming far too many of our fellow Georgians. This is the opioid crisis in Georgia.
From Georgia to Appalachia to California, we cover the country coast to coast to tell this story. There is a dark truth interwoven throughout this majestic beauty. That truth, the opioid crisis, is everywhere.
There's not a community that hasn't been touched one way or another.
We had a war in Vietnam, and we lost far fewer people in that entire war than we lost in 2017 from drug addiction, overdose death.
Families thrust into a war they never saw coming.
We did everything right, by the book.
Children lured.
People may drive into the bluff. Buy, use.
Then hooked.
That was one of my biggest fears, is that my wife or my family or someone would find me dead in a bathroom.
So far from anything you ever imagine your life to be. Like, how did I get here? And how do I get out of this?
There was times when I would be crying, like I don't want to use, and I'd be crying all the way to the drug spot and still use.
70,000 people a year claimed by drug overdoses, a number made more painful when you see the people whose lives held such promise, who were beloved, now gone.
I had all the resources in the world and I couldn't save my son.
He overdosed and actually sat in his car for 22 hours before anyone found him.
I was in this house while my son was dying downstairs, and I didn't know. I just didn't know.
This crisis does not discriminate.
It's everybody. It's mothers, it's aunts, it's uncles, it's doctors, it's nurses. It's people who are homeless, it's people who have 3 homes.
So tonight, we confront the stigma and shame.
It is a disease of the brain, not a moral failing.
We deal in facts, like evidence-based treatment that works.
I think that has been the most important part of his recovery.
And we show the hope that there is a way forward out of this crisis, that recovery is possible.
Our misery has become our mission now.
But first, how we got here.